The champagne glass slipped from Zara's hand before she could stop it. It shattered on the marble floor, and every head in the ballroom turned toward the sound. 300 people. 300 witnesses. And she was about to make it worse. She'd been refilling drinks for 2 hours at this engagement party, watching Chicago's most dangerous crime boss celebrate his upcoming wedding to a woman who was planning to murder him. Zara knew because she'd been hiding in the kitchen 20 minutes ago when the fiancé walked in on a phone call. The wedding night. That's when it happens. Poison in his whiskey. He'll be dead before morning, and everything transfers to me. Zara had pressed herself against the wall, barely breathing, praying the woman wouldn't notice her. She didn't. She just laughed and walked back out to her party. Now Zara stood in the middle of the ballroom, broken glass at her feet, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might crack her ribs. She had 2 choices. Stay silent and let a man die. Or do something insane. She chose insane. Dante Moretti stood near the stage, his fiancée Vanessa on his arm, smiling for photographers. He was exactly what people said. Tall, built like he'd break you in half without trying, dark hair slicked back, a scar cutting through his left eyebrow. He ran half of Chicago's underground. Drugs, weapons, money laundering. Everyone knew. Nobody talked about it. Zara walked straight toward him. Security noticed first. 2 men in black suits stepped into her path. "Miss, you need to return to the kitchen. I need to speak to Mr. Moretti." "That's not how this works. It's urgent." One of them smirked. "I'm sure it is. Turn around." Zara's mind raced. She had maybe 10 seconds before they threw her out. 10 seconds to warn a man who would never believe a random caterer. She needed his attention. Needed something he couldn't ignore. So she did the only thing she could think of. She shoved past the guards, grabbed Dante Moretti by the collar, and kissed him. The room exploded into chaos. If you're enjoying this story, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. People screamed. Someone dropped a tray. Glass shattered. Vanessa shrieked. Security grabbed Zara from behind and yanked her backward so violently she stumbled. Someone was yelling her name. Someone else was cursing in Italian. Zara's heart was in her throat, but her eyes stayed locked on Dante's face. She needed to see if he understood. If he'd felt the piece of paper she'd shoved into his jacket pocket during the kiss. The note she'd scribbled in the kitchen 5 minutes ago. "Your fiancé is going to poison you on your wedding night. Check her phone." "I'm not lying." Dante's expression was unreadable. Cold. Calculating. Deadly. "Get her out of here," Vanessa screamed, her perfect face twisted with rage. "Get this psycho away from him." Security started dragging Zara toward the exit. Her feet barely touched the ground. She didn't fight. There was nothing left to do. She'd warned him. Whether he believed her was out of her control now. "Stop." Dante's voice cut through the noise like a blade. Everyone froze. "Let her go." The guards hesitated. "Sir, she assaulted you." "I said let her go." They released her immediately. Zara nearly collapsed but forced herself to stay upright. Her whole body was shaking. Vanessa stared at Dante like he'd lost his mind. "What are you doing? She just humiliated us in front of everyone." Dante didn't look at her. His eyes were still on Zara. Dark. Intense. Searching. "Everyone out," he said quietly. Murmurs erupted instantly. Confusion. Protest. But when Dante Moretti gave an order, people obeyed. Within minutes, the ballroom began to empty. Vanessa tried to stay, but Dante told her to leave too. Her face went white with fury, but she left. Soon, it was just Zara, Dante, and 2 guards by the door. Dante reached into his jacket pocket. Pulled out the note. Read it. Then he looked at her. Who are you? Zara Holloway. I work for the catering company. Why should I believe you? Check her phone. The call logs. 20 minutes ago. She was in the kitchen. Dante studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded to one of his guards. Bring me Vanessa's phone. The guard disappeared. The other one stayed by the door, watching Zara like she might explode. Dante stepped closer. Zara forced herself not to back away. You just kissed a man you don't know, he said calmly, in front of 300 people who would kill you without blinking. Why? Because I heard what she's planning. And I couldn't just let it happen. You don't know me. I could be a monster. You probably are, Zara said quietly. But that doesn't mean you deserve to die. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. The guard returned with Vanessa's phone. Handed it to Dante. He scrolled through it, his jaw tightening with every second. Then he looked up at Zara. You're either very brave, he said slowly, or very stupid. I've been called both. He almost smiled. Almost. What's your real reason? He asked. Nobody risks their life for a stranger without a reason. Zara hesitated. Then decided honesty was the only option left. 3 years ago, I tried to warn someone about a threat. I stayed quiet because I was scared. And he died because I said nothing. I'm not making that mistake again. Dante's expression softened, just barely. Who was he? My brother. Silence. Then Dante nodded once. You just saved my life. So you believe me? The phone confirms it. He held up the screen. She's been planning this for 6 months. Zara's knees almost gave out. What are you going to do? Handle it. His tone made it clear what that meant. And me? Dante studied her carefully. You put yourself in danger to warn me. That means you're now a target. Her stomach dropped. What? Vanessa has powerful friends. When she figures out you exposed her, she'll come after you. I didn't think. No, you didn't. His voice wasn't cruel. Just honest. Which means you need protection. I can take care of myself. Can you? He stepped closer. Where do you live? She hesitated. A motel on the south side. Family? None. Friends who can hide you. Silence. Dante nodded. That's what I thought. I don't need your help. Yes, you do. He pulled out his phone. You have 2 options. Run and hope they don't find you. Or stay under my protection. Why would you protect me? Because you saved my life, he said simply. And I pay my debts. Zara wanted to argue. Wanted to refuse. But she wasn't stupid. If Vanessa had the resources to plan a murder, she had the resources to hunt down a witness. If I stay, Zara said carefully, what does that mean? It means you move into one of my properties. You don't leave without security. And you do exactly what I tell you to keep you alive. That sounds like a prison. It's survival, Dante corrected. Take it or leave it. She looked at him. Really looked. This man was dangerous. Probably had blood on his hands. Definitely had enemies who would kill her just to hurt him. But he was also the only reason she might survive the next 24 hours. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay. Something dark and protective flashed in his eyes. Then you're mine to protect now. And for the first time since the kiss, Zara wasn't sure whether she should feel safe or terrified. They took her out through a back entrance. No questions. No explanations. Just two guards flanking her and Dante walking ahead, phone pressed to his ear, giving orders in a voice too low for her to hear. The car was black, armored, windows tinted so dark she couldn't see inside until the door opened. Dante gestured for her to get in. She hesitated. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. "How do I know that?" "Because if I wanted you dead, you'd already be dead." It wasn't comforting. But it was honest. She got in. The drive took 30 minutes. They didn't speak. Zara sat stiff in her seat, hands clenched in her lap, trying not to think about how completely her life had just changed. This morning she'd woken up in a motel room that smelled like mold. Tonight she was in a car with a Mafia boss because she'd kissed him to save his life. The car finally stopped outside a building she didn't recognize. Modern. Expensive. The kind of place she'd never been able to afford. "This is one of my apartments," Dante said. "You'll stay here until it's safe." "And when will that be?" "When Vanessa is no longer a problem." The way he said it made Zara's stomach turn. "You're going to kill her." "I'm going to protect myself." He opened the car door. "Come on." The apartment was on the top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Leather furniture. Kitchen bigger than her entire motel room. It looked like something out of a magazine. Dante walked to the window, hands in his pockets, staring out at the city lights. "You'll stay here. Security will be outside the door. You don't leave without me." "For how long?" "As long as it takes." Zara's chest tightened. "I have a job. Bills. I can't just disappear." "Your job was catering. They'll replace you by tomorrow." He turned to face her. "And your bills?" "I'll handle them." "I don't want your money." "It's not about what you want," he said calmly. "It's about keeping you alive." She wanted to argue. But exhaustion was crashing over her. "Why are you doing this?" "I told you. I pay my debts." "That's not a real answer." Dante walked closer. Stopped a few feet away. "You risked everything to warn me. Most people wouldn't have. They would have walked away and let me die. But you didn't. That means something." "What does it mean?" "It means you're worth protecting." Something in his voice made her chest ache. She looked away. "I didn't do it for you." "I know," he said quietly. "You did it because you couldn't live with staying silent." "That's even better." Silence settled between them. Finally, Dante stepped back. "There's food in the kitchen. Clothes in the bedroom. Bathroom down the hall. Get some rest. We'll talk tomorrow." He walked toward the door. "Dante." He stopped. Turned. "Thank you," she said quietly. He nodded once. Then he left, the door locking behind him. Zara stood there for a long time, staring at the space he'd occupied. Then she sank onto the couch and finally let herself breathe. She'd saved his life. And now hers was in his hands. Zara didn't sleep. She lay on the bed fully clothed, staring at the ceiling, listening to every sound. Footsteps in the hallway. Voices she couldn't make out. The hum of the city below. Her mind wouldn't stop. She kept replaying the kiss. The look on Vanessa's face. The way Dante had read her note without flinching. She thought about her brother. About the night she'd heard the men planning to hurt him. About how she'd been too scared to speak up. About how she'd found him 2 days later in an alley, beaten so badly she didn't recognize him at first. She'd promised herself she'd never be that scared again. And tonight, she'd kept that promise. But now she was trapped. Protected, yes. But trapped. Around dawn, there was a knock. Zara sat up fast. Yes? The door opened. A woman stepped in. Mid-30s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. I'm Elena. Mr. Moretti sent me to get you ready. Ready for what? Breakfast. With him. Zara's stomach flipped. I'm fine here. Elena smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It wasn't a request. 30 minutes later, Zara was dressed in clothes that fit perfectly, too perfectly, and being escorted downstairs to a private dining room. Dante was already there, sitting at the head of a long table, reading something on his phone. He looked up when she entered. Sit. She sat. Elena disappeared. It was just the two of them now. How did you sleep? Dante asked. I didn't. He nodded like he'd expected that. You're safe here. You know that, right? I don't feel safe. You will. Breakfast was brought in. Coffee, eggs, toast. Zara couldn't eat. Dante ate slowly, watching her. I need to know more about you, he finally said. Why? Because protecting you means understanding your vulnerabilities. Zara set down her coffee cup. I don't have any. Everyone does. She met his eyes. Fine. What do you want to know? Who was the person you're running from? Her breath caught. I'm not running from anyone. Zara. His voice was calm but firm. I've been doing this a long time. I know when someone's hiding. She looked down at her hands. His name is Troy. We dated for 2 years. When I tried to leave, he made it clear he wouldn't let me go. Did he hurt you? Yes. Dante's jaw tightened. Where is he now? Atlanta. At least, that's where he was 6 months ago when I left. And you think he's still looking for you? I know he is. Dante leaned back. Does he know you're in Chicago? No. I've been careful. Not careful enough, Dante said. If you're working public events, he could find you. Fear shot through her. What are you saying? I'm saying you're not going back to that life. He pulled out his phone. Give me his full name. Why? Because I'm going to make sure he never finds you. Zara's hands trembled. You're going to kill him. I'm going to make sure he's no longer a threat, Dante corrected. There's a difference. I don't want blood on my hands. It won't be on yours, he said quietly. It'll be on mine. She wanted to refuse. Wanted to tell him to stop. But the truth was, she'd been terrified of Troy for 3 years. And the idea that someone could actually stop him. Troy Patterson, she whispered. Dante typed it into his phone. Sent a message. It's done. Just like that? Just like that. Silence fell between them. Why are you really doing this? Zara asked. You don't owe me this much. Dante set his phone down. 3 years ago, someone tried to warn me about a betrayal. I didn't listen. I thought I knew better. And because of that, 2 of my men died. Her breath caught. I don't make that mistake twice, he continued. You warned me when you had every reason to stay silent. That kind of courage is rare. And I protect rare things. Something in her chest cracked open. I'm not special. Yes, you are. His eyes held hers. You just don't see it yet. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression darkened. What? Zara asked. Vanessa knows. Her stomach dropped. Knows what? That you warned me. He stood. She's coming after you. Zara stood too, panic rising. How? She has people everywhere. Dante moved toward her. Which is why you're not leaving my side until this is over. I can't just. You can, he interrupted. And you will. She wanted to argue. But the look in his eyes stopped her. Okay, she whispered. Dante nodded. Then he did something unexpected. He reached out and gently touched her shoulder. Not possessive. Reassuring. I won't let anyone hurt you, he said quietly. I promise. And despite everything, despite the danger, despite not knowing him, despite all of it, Zara believed him. The attack came 2 days later. Zara was in the apartment, reading by the window, when she heard shouting in the hallway. Then gunfire. Sharp. Rapid. Close. She dropped the book and ran toward the bedroom, heart hammering. The door burst open before she reached it. Dante stormed in, gun in hand, 2 guards behind him. We need to move. Now. What's happening? Vanessa sent people. He grabbed her arm, not rough but urgent. Stay close to me. They moved fast. Down a back staircase she hadn't known existed. Through a service corridor. More gunfire echoed above them. Zara's hands shook but she kept moving. They reached an underground garage. Another car waited, engine running. Dante shoved her into the back seat and climbed in after her. The car peeled out before the door even closed. Where are we going? Zara asked, breathless. Somewhere safer. I thought that apartment was safe. It was. Dante's jaw was tight. She's more desperate than I thought. Zara looked at him. Really looked. His shirt was torn at the shoulder. Blood stained his collar. You're hurt. It's not mine. That should have scared her. Instead, she felt something else. Gratitude. This man was bleeding, or had made someone else bleed, to keep her alive. How many people are trying to kill us? She asked quietly. Right now? 10, maybe 15. He glanced at her. But by tomorrow, there won't be any. Because you'll kill them first. Yes. She should have been horrified. Should have demanded he let her go. But she wasn't stupid. Without him, she'd be dead already. Where are we going? She asked again. My house. I thought that apartment was yours. That was a safe house. He leaned back, finally relaxing slightly. My actual house is where I go when things get serious. And this is serious? He looked at her. You saved my life. Yes, this is serious. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a mansion. Actual mansion. Gates, guards, cameras everywhere. The kind of place you only saw in movies. Dante led her inside. The house was massive. Dark wood, expensive art, the smell of leather and whiskey. It felt powerful. Dangerous. Like him. You'll stay in the guest wing, he said, walking her through the halls. It's the most secure part of the house. How long this time? He stopped walking. Turned to face her. Until Vanessa is dead. Zara swallowed. When will that be? Tonight. Her breath caught. You're going after her? She came after you, he said, voice cold. That ends tonight. What if she kills you first? Something flickered in his eyes. Is that concern I hear? Of course it is, Zara said before she could stop herself. You're the only thing keeping me alive. Is that the only reason? She looked away. Didn't answer. Dante stepped closer. Zara. She forced herself to meet his eyes. "I need to know something," he said quietly. "Are you afraid of me?" "Yes." He flinched slightly. "Then why are you still here?" "Because I'm more afraid of what happens if I leave." He studied her for a long moment. Then nodded. "Fair enough." He turned to go. "Dante." He stopped. "Don't die tonight," she said, voice barely steady. "Please." His expression softened. "I don't plan to. Promise me." He walked back to her. Stood close enough that she could feel the heat coming off him. "I promise." Then he did something that stopped her heart. He reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The touch was so careful, so unexpected, that Zara forgot how to breathe. "Get some rest," he said softly. "This will be over soon." Then he left. Zara stood there, hand pressed to her chest, feeling her heart race for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. She didn't see him for 6 hours. The longest 6 hours of her life. She paced. Saturday. Paced again. Tried to eat. Couldn't. Every sound made her jump. Every minute that passed felt like proof he wasn't coming back. Then, just after midnight, the door opened. Dante stepped in. Alive. Unharmed. But something in his eyes was different. Darker. Heavier. "It's done," he said. Zara stood. Vanessa? Dead. She should have felt relief. Instead, she felt something complicated. "Did you?" "Yes." Silence. "Are you okay?" she asked quietly. He looked at her like the question surprised him. "No one's asked me that in a long time. I'm asking now." Dante walked to the window. Stared out at the dark. "I've killed a lot of people. It stopped bothering me years ago. But tonight felt different." He turned to face her. "Because I did it for you." Her chest tightened. "I didn't ask you to." "I know." He stepped closer. "But she tried to hurt you. And I couldn't let that happen." "Why?" Zara whispered. "Why do you care so much?" Dante stopped a foot away from her. "Because you're the first person in 10 years to do something good without wanting anything in return." "That's not true." "It is," he said firmly. "You risked your life to save mine. You didn't ask for money. Didn't ask for protection. You just did it because it was right." Tears stung her eyes. "I'm not a good person, Dante. I've made mistakes. I've stayed silent when I should have spoken. You're human," he interrupted gently. "That's all any of us are." She looked up at him. "What happens now?" "Now you're safe." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a phone. Her phone. "Troy's been handled. He won't bother you again." Her hands shook as she took it. "What did you do?" "Made it clear that if he ever comes near you, he dies." Dante's voice was calm. "He believed me." Relief crashed over her so hard she almost collapsed. "Thank you." "You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do." She looked at him. "You didn't have to do any of this." "Yes, I did." He stepped closer. "Because somewhere along the way, keeping you safe stopped being about debt." Her breath caught. "Then what's it about?" Dante reached up and cupped her face gently. "You really don't know?" She shook her head, unable to speak. "I care about you, Zara," he said quietly. "More than I should. More than is smart." "Dante." "You don't have to say anything," he continued. "I know what I am. I know what I do. I know I'm not someone you should want." "Stop," she whispered. He did. Zara took a shaky breath. 3 days ago, I thought I'd spend the rest of my life hiding. Scared. Alone. Her voice cracked. And then I met you. And I'm still scared. But I'm not alone anymore. Dante's thumb brushed her cheek. You'll never be alone again. Promise? I promise. She didn't know who moved first. Maybe both of them. But suddenly his lips were on hers, and this kiss was nothing like the one at the party. That one had been desperate. Reckless. This one was slow. Certain. Real. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. I don't know how to do this, Zara whispered. I don't know how to be with someone like you. Someone like me? Someone dangerous. Dante smiled slightly. I'm only dangerous to people who hurt you. Her chest ached. That's not reassuring. It should be. He pressed his forehead to hers. Because it means you're the safest person in this city. She laughed through tears. That's insane. So is kissing a mafia boss to save his life, he pointed out. She smiled. Fair point. They stood there for a long time, just holding each other. Then Dante pulled back slightly. Stay with me, he said. I don't have anywhere else to go. That's not what I mean. His eyes held hers. Stay with me. Not because you have to. Because you want to. Her heart pounded. For how long? As long as you'll have me. Zara searched his face. Saw sincerity. Saw something she hadn't expected to find in a man like him. Hope. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay. Relief flooded his expression. He kissed her again, softer this time, like sealing a promise. When they finally pulled apart, Zara rested her head against his chest. This is crazy. Completely, he agreed. We barely know each other. We'll learn. People are going to talk. Let them. She smiled against his shirt. You have an answer for everything. Not everything, Dante said quietly. I still don't know why you chose to save me. Zara looked up at him. Because when I saw you standing there, about to marry someone who was going to kill you, I saw my brother. And I couldn't let it happen again. His arms tightened around her. I'm sorry about your brother. Me too. They stood there in comfortable silence. Then Zara asked, what happens tomorrow? Tomorrow, Dante said, we figure out what normal looks like for us. Do people like us get normal? We can try. She nodded. Okay. Let's try. 6 months later, Zara stood in the kitchen of Dante's house, their house now, making coffee. The morning sun streamed through the windows. Birds sang outside. Everything felt impossibly peaceful. She heard footsteps behind her. Felt arms wrap around her waist. Dante's chin rested on her shoulder. Morning, he murmured. Morning. She leaned back into him. Sleep okay? Better than I have in years. She smiled. Good. They stood there for a moment, comfortable in the silence. I have to go into the city today, Dante said. Meeting with some people. Dangerous people? Not anymore. He kissed her temple. I've been cleaning things up. Going legitimate. She turned in his arms. Seriously? Seriously. He looked at her steadily. I told you. You make me want to be better. Tears stung her eyes. Dante. I'm not doing it just for you, he continued. I'm doing it for us. For whatever future we're building. She cupped his face. I love you. It was the first time she'd said it. His eyes widened slightly. then softened. "I love you too," he said quietly. "More than I thought I was capable of." She kissed him. Slow and deep and full of promises neither of them had known they'd be able to keep. When they pulled apart, Dante rested his forehead against hers. "Thank you." "For what?" "For being brave enough to kiss me that night," he said. "For saving my life. For staying." "Thank you for protecting me," she replied. "For keeping your promises. For loving me even though I came with baggage. We all have baggage." He smiled. "Yours just tried to kill us." She laughed. "True." He kissed her once more, then reluctantly pulled away. "I need to get ready. Be safe. Always." After he left, Zara stood in the kitchen, coffee in hand, looking out at the city. A year ago, she'd been running. Hiding. Terrified. Now she was home. It wasn't the house. It wasn't the safety. It was him. Dante had become her home. And somehow, impossibly, she'd become his. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fight or run. Sometimes it's stepping forward when every instinct tells you to hide. Sometimes it's kissing a dangerous man to save his life. Sometimes it's choosing love when fear tells you not to. Because Zara had learned something important. The right choice doesn't always come gently. Sometimes it comes with shaking hands, a reckless kiss, and the courage to change everything. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it changes your life in ways you never imagined. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments where you are watching from.